All right, we are good to go. We're going to get started, and just want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. For those of you that are in Virginia Beach, thank you so much for coming out. I would love to see you all, but unfortunately, all I'm seeing in the camera is the reflection of my ugly mug, and I'm sure that you guys are a lot better looking than me, but also just want to thank the few of you that have dialed in from around the world. We've actually got somebody watching from Korea tonight. So, Michael, thank you for dialing in and leading the way and doing that. No, we're not opening Korea. Michael's over there on a business trip. So, but we're going to get started here right away. So tonight, the purpose of tonight really is to kind of chart out a path or a blueprint to helping you get to that desired income that you want. So those of you that are live, please do not hesitate to ask Dennis or DG a question. He'll go ahead and type it. Stop me at any time. This whole presentation is for you guys. And again, obviously we're recording this, so no matter where you're at, if you're listening to this, go ahead and ask questions, and we'll be able to do that. So just kind of starting out with this, so I'm gonna go into a lot of depth tonight. I know that there's been several commission plan trainings and different things based on our compensation plan, and you guys have been able to watch those on YouTube and look at those and be able to see all of that. But what I'm going to go into tonight is a little bit different. I'm going to go from two different ends of the spectrum. One, I'm going to kind of explain why we've actually calculated and created the commission structure that we have, because I think that's extremely important as you're building and doing some of the activities to be able to make this a transition. But on the other aspect of it is I'm going to talk about the daily activities, the steps, the actions, the momentum to be able to get you to that desired income. Now, we throw out, a lot of times $10,000 a month is kind of a benchmark in our industry that people strive for right out of the gates and start looking at. And so we're going to talk a lot about that $10,000 a month mark because that really gets somebody into that six-figure earnings, which for a lot of people, that is significantly more than what they're making. I know that we've got people, like I said, we've got people from different international countries that are watching this or will be watching this, and the national average is right around $35,000 a year income for that medium here in the United States. And so when we start talking about a six-figure income, $120,000 a year, a lot of people can't fathom that. So we're going to talk about some of the other incomes as well. We're also going to talk about, for some of you high achievers, people who really have big goals and aspirations, we're going to talk about some of those bigger incomes and how to get there as well and how our plan does that. But tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into talking a little bit about why we calculated and our commission structure. And I think it's important to understand that aspect of it so that it's not, okay, did the company just put this in there to make it harder, or did the company put it in here to confuse us, or did the company do this? We've actually gone through and looked at a ton of analytical numbers, and I'd like to share some of those with you guys tonight. But first of all, I want to talk about the principle, the Moneyball principle. For those of you that follow sports, there's a movie about this. For those of you that are Brad Pitt fans and maybe not necessarily sports fans, but there's a movie that's it's called Moneyball. And it says your goal shouldn't be to buy players. Your goal should be to buy wins. In order to buy wins, you need to buy runs. And really, our commission structure is extremely lucrative because of this aspect right here, all based on that Moneyball principle. We're not a company, and it's not a commission structure that is built or geared towards buying leaders, which has kind of plagued our industry for a lot of years, and it's really kind of been a difficult or a challenging thing. And so our perspective is that doesn't work. It just absolutely doesn't work. Not only does it ruin the industry, in my opinion, and my experience, but also I believe that it sets the false expectations or the wrong expectations for individuals. And so we're not about buying players, but we are about buying wins. And in order to buy wins, we have to buy runs. And what that means is essentially we are taking smaller steps to help people and have a progression or a path to be able to help people earn within our commission structure. So I'm just going to show an analogy. This is something that, when we sat down and started looking at our commission structure, no, this is not our tree, but this is just kind of a graph that I want to show, is when we sat down and started to draw out our commission structure, it wasn't, do we want to be a binary? Do we want to be a unilevel? Do we want to be a SurStep breakaway? Do we want to be a coded bonus? There's several different commission structures out there. When we started to draw out our commission plan, we simply stated that we wanted to have a commission structure that actually builds people's behaviors and creates the culture that we want in a company. So in this graph, I'm going to show you an analogy. This is one of the things that we spoke about, that this happens quite a lot. And this is going to kind of tie into when we start talking about the commission structure and earning and different things. So in this example, leader A has $300,000 in organizational volume, which simply stated means that everything below that individual is $300,000 in volume. Now, leader B has $284,000 in organizational volume, which is leader B is in leader A's organization. So if you look at that, there's less than $20,000 in organizational volume outside of leader B that leader A has generated. And so in this scenario, I would ask you, which leader, in your opinion, should have the bigger income or the bigger reward? And, we can go through and talk about the different things and well, so-and-so brought in leader B, and so therefore leader A should benefit from that. Absolutely. Leader A should absolutely benefit from leader B, but if leader B is outworking leader A, leader B's income, and I'm going to show you an example of this here in just a little bit, leader B's income should be significantly higher than leader A. Leader A should absolutely benefit from leader B, but they should not, just because they were here first or enrolled that individual and haven't went and done some of the necessary work, should not benefit more than leader B just because of that one introduction. And again, that we're talking about driving behaviors and driving culture, which is a big part of our commission structure and the reason why we did that. Now, another part of our commission structure is talking about sponsoring. Now, there's a lot of compensation plans that are out there that is simply capturing, we call it the spaghetti approach. You talk to every person you know, you try to sign up everybody in the system, you throw the spaghetti against the wall and you see what sticks. And that has been proven to not necessarily work either. And so this is actually, the statistics that I'm about to share with you, this one included, is 700 companies in our industry that are actively building today. These statistics come from a back office, back-end provider, commission engine, different things. And so they actually have the analytics and data to be able to pull out this information to be able to share with you. So there's a key insight when it comes to sponsoring. 70% of the individuals who join a business, a direct sales or network marketing company, will not sponsor a single person. They won't. They will not sponsor a single person. Now, I want to come back to that statistic here when we start talking about earning here with the M Network, because that is an important aspect of what we do. Now, 20% of the organization is going to sponsor 1 to 2 people. 20%. So, okay, there we go. Now, 5% will actually sponsor 3 to 5. 3 to 5 people, 5%. 3% will sponsor 6 to 9, and 2% will sponsor 9 or more. 2, 3, 5, 20%. But here's the thing. The 20% to the 2%, will sponsor, will bring in 100% of the people to the company, 100%. So when you start looking at these statistics, less than 30% will bring in 100% of the company, of the new members and everybody in there. So these are factors that we as a company, we have to look at to understand the reason why we've set up our commission structure the way that we did, because at the end of the day, it's important to be able to reward the right behavior. And I'm going to come back to that 70% because a lot of companies in the direct sales network marketing world, they forget about that 70%. They think about that 70% that they are unqualified, they are now good. And so they don't reward, they don't set anything up, they don't create the behaviors to be able to help those people succeed. But now let me show you another interesting statistic when we start talking about income. And so here's another key insight. One commission check can stimulate activities and distributors for at least 6 months. And then for as low as $50 in income. Okay, now again, this is 700 companies that are actively building today. Some of these companies are 30 plus years old, and some of these companies are less than a year old. But across the spectrum, this is what they've been able to show, is that for a minimum of $50 income, $50, 70% of those people across the board in those 700 companies are actively building 6 months later. They're still actively building because of that $50 check. Now, that's significant. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Now, 95%, we jump up another 25% with $500 a month income. Now, this was a target for us as a company when we were putting together our commission structure, was that $500 a month. Because of this statistic, as well as in 2010, 80% of the homes that were foreclosed on in the United States could have been prevented with just an additional $500 a month income. But I would ask you, whether you're sitting there tonight and hopefully Sue made some of good cookies, or if not, that's just an excuse to come back next time they have an event there, or you're sitting there in China watching this, or China, Korea, I would ask you, what would an additional $6,000 annually mean for you and your family? Where would that put you? And that statistic showed that in 2010, 80% of the people could have been in their homes. But here's the realization today, and the economy is getting stronger and better here in the United States, and I know it's stronger in Canada and other parts of the world, getting stronger, I should say. But the reality is that right now, currently in the United States, 1 out of 4 homes is being foreclosed on or in threat of being foreclosed on. And so that $500 seems a lot more significant. And so when you look at 95% of the people that get to that $500 a month income, show that they will stay in the business and actively building the business 6 months later. Now notice that percentage jumps up to 100% when we get to that $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year in income. 100% of the people that get to that $5,000 a month income can dramatically increase the retention and the interest of individuals building in the business. So again, these are 3 kind of target markets or target incomes that we as a company, when we were structuring our commission plan, to really target in these areas. And then obviously we go above and beyond, but the reality is that if we can impact these 3 income points, we can dramatically increase your business and increase your future and the retention aspect of it. So I was talking about this, there's the 70%, the 70% that don't sponsor. Let's talk about, how do I make money with the M Network? How do we get to, what was kind of the overall philosophy? And so that 70% that never recruits anybody, there's 2 reasons why typically somebody will come into a business and never recruit somebody. Number 1 is the fact that they're scared, they don't understand, they don't know, they don't plug into the system. There's a whole host of reasons as to reasons why somebody would be scared or uncomfortable to go out and recruit somebody. Had dinner last night with an individual and a prospect where they were talking about that they were hesitant to share the product at work because they didn't want to impose, and there they were making the decision for the other individuals in their life, which was unfortunate, instead of letting the individuals do that. But the other aspect of it is that people are just uncomfortable when it comes to recruiting or building a team. And so I want to make this point very clear. Our commission structure has two paths to success. There's the retailing aspect of our business, which last month, during the month of February, consisted of over 52% of our sales in the month of February came from retail sales. And so when you look at it from that perspective, that is a big part of our business. And the beautiful thing I love about our commission structure is that I can go all the way to the top of our pay plan here at the M Network without recruiting a single soul if I am a product evangelist and I can retail and sell the product. And so when we start talking about that aspect, tonight I'm going to spend more time on the business building aspect of things, but I want you to understand that there's a retailing aspect. And the way that you would determine the retail aspect is we have bulk buying discounts. We have the ability to go through and be able to buy below wholesale when we have these bulk buying discounts, where you can get all the way up to Keystone, where you could actually get almost a 50% buying discount where you're buying the product, turning around, retailing it. But the beautiful thing about what we're doing is that you have a 5% rebate on top of that, plus you're getting your position in the tree, and then what's spillover, which I'll talk about here in a second, you can build a matrix check at the same time, but we will reward retail sales. Now, really quickly, I'd like to just share with you a fun statistic from the February. We're always about the numbers here at the M Network because the numbers never lie, and they always tell a story, and if you listen to the story, you can help create the legacy that we're building here at the M Network. And so out of that 52% of the individuals who purchased retail, who were not tied to a compensation plan, but they were a retail customer of our members, out of that 52%, 88% of the individuals who purchased a product out of that 52 that were the retail, 88% of those people had actually purchased a product from us in January. 88%. Now, that is unheard of. I have never been a part of any business to be able to see that type of repeat business, especially when we're talking about individuals who are not even tied to a compensation plan. They just love the product. And so you can earn money retail by sending people to your retail site, and they buy wholesale. So they buy retail off of your site. You get the difference between wholesale and retail plus 5%. You can do. You can turn around and retail and sell products to the individuals, and you're buying at wholesale, so retail. Plus, all of our products come retail ready. And Dennis and Sue, they do a fantastic job of retailing. They've already retailed tens of thousands of dollars since starting in February. Phenomenal. There's the incredible engine that they've got going there, and they're doing a phenomenal job with that. And just want to say shout out from corporate, huge kudos, absolutely love and appreciate you guys. But then we've also got members. We had a member last weekend, her and her team, Amy Halanati, who retailed $7,300 at a weekend at a home and garden show of products. And again, they bought the below wholesale retail packs, and then they sold them retail, and they were able to generate income as well as earning money through the tree. So the retail aspect of what we're doing is pretty significant. But again, I'm going to spend more time talking about the business building, because the retail sales, if you're buying, if you're buying at a 50% discount and you're selling it for full retail, you're doubling your money, right? I spend $10,000 and I bought it at a 50% discount, and I sell that $10,000 of product at retail, which is $20,000. I just made that. So that retail aspect is pretty self-explanatory. If you're somebody that's a product evangelist, you can do exceptionally well here with us. So when you start talking about the ability from a business building perspective, it's about building a team. So when you start talking about that, you can build a team of entrepreneurs. You're leveraging earnings. You're leveraging leader bonuses. You're leveraging all of those aspects of things. And so when you start talking about that aspect of it, that's what we're going to spend our time with tonight. Now, some of you guys are going to be sitting there, and I know you hopefully you've got like a pencil and a paper, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat, and you're like, okay, I'm going to write down everything that Ryan says, and then I'm going to earn $10,000 a month, and I'm going to become a six-figure earner at the M Network, and I'm so excited. And I'm sitting there writing down, and so when we sit there and look at this from that perspective, we're going to say, okay, this is so simple and so easy that you're going to sit there and think to yourself, now wait a minute, how did I'm looking for some magic formula. And Ryan just said something that was so simple and easy that's not a magic formula, but it is. And so I'm going to go here. And so I'm setting that preference or that expectation in the beginning. Life is simple. Humans complicate it. Business is simple. Humans complicate it. Direct sales network marketing is simple. Humans complicate it. And that's the beautiful thing that we're doing here at the M Network is we are simplifying things. And if the things that I'm about to tell you sound extremely simple, too simple in fact, then you're overcomplicating the business, and that's probably why your business isn't where you want it today. Do not overcomplicate it. And so, again, setting that expectation before we get into it. Now, there's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. It is a business Bible, in my opinion. I read it at least once a year. But there's a concept, if you haven't read the book, there's a concept in here called the flywheel concept. And what it is it talks about doing this, the amount of effort and energy that it takes to get a big, huge flywheel going, that energy and the exertion that you have to get to be able to do that. Think about this huge flywheel, and you're standing there, and you have to get it rolling, and you put all of your energy in. You're going to put so much energy in the beginning, and the only way that you can get that flywheel moving is by to continue putting in the energy. And at the beginning, the energy is going to be a lot more than at the end, because once you get that energy going and you start that flywheel to start to spin, it takes less and less and less energy. But what happens when you start to spin that flywheel and you start to get it to spin, and then all of a sudden you stop? The flywheel stops. Now, the energy that it's going to take to start the business and to get your momentum going in the beginning is going to be dramatically more in the beginning than it will as you get your business going into momentum. But if you don't do the daily activities and consistent activity, your flywheel is going to stop. And when it stops, you've got to put all of that energy back into that flywheel to get it going again. And again, why is Ryan spending so much time on this? Because when I get into these steps and I start talking about what it is that it's going to do, it sounds extremely simple. But it's not simple when you got to do it day after day after day after day, because when you stop, so does all that momentum and energy. So I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about that and the importance of it, because I've seen it already, but I've seen it throughout my entire career. I've grown up in this industry. I've seen it again and again and again. People will get all excited and they jump in and they get a bunch of people excited, and then they're like, yay, I'm going to start cashing a $10,000 a month check. And then nothing happens. And they're like, what happened? All my team was excited and I was excited, and it stopped. And your business stopped because you stopped. So I will tell you, the one thing that I've learned in this career and throughout this industry is that your business is a direct reflection of your daily activities. What you do today will reflect in your business 30, 60, 90 days from now because that's flywheel. What you do today necessarily isn't going to reflect tomorrow. So if your income isn't what it is that you want it to be today, it's because 30, 60, 90 days ago, and maybe you're brand new to the business, so obviously, but your business will always be a reflection of what you did 30, 60, 90 days ago. So again, now I'm going to jump into the steps here. So right now, and I'm going to go through and kind of talk about these packs and talk about some of these other things and things really quickly. But during the month of March, we have a $75 bonus. So any 3 retail packs that you bring a new member in on, you're going to earn a $75 bonus. Now, I would ask you, what would an additional $150 mean to you and your family this month? It was interesting. I was in here the other day doing a presentation in this room right now and around our boardroom table, and there was a bunch of new prospects. And I asked this question, what would an additional $150 mean to you and your family? And one of the girls was like, I can finally get my car fixed. I haven't had a car because I couldn't afford the $150 to get it fixed. And so right now, the fast cash is $25. I bring in 3 apprentice packs at $25. That equals $75 plus the $75 bonus. That gives me $150 plus all of that volume that goes into the matrix, which pays there as well. So make sure that you understand that matrix pay is separate from here. But that $150, you can go do that work this week and get paid on that $75 and then the $75 bonus, that pays out weekly. So $150, what would that mean for you and your family? Next, the master pack. You get 3 at $75, $75 fast cash for each master pack is a total of $225. We're going to give you another $75 bonus on top of that, which gives you a total of $300. What would an additional $300 mean to you and your family? Pretty significant, right? And so that's the ability that we have with this pay plan right now, and especially with this bonus that's going on, is to immediately put people cash, because we know that when you're pushing on that flywheel and you're doing some of the things that you're doing, we need to compensate you along the way to make sure that you understand and reinforce that behavior, that what you're doing is correct and that it will build to that income that you not only want but that you need as well. Now, the Elite Pack, I asked you, what would an additional $500 a month this month mean to you and your family? Here we are at that 90% ratio. If you get 3 people on an Elite Pack during the month of March, the fast cash that's part of our commission structure, but we have the $75 bonus as well. But when you start looking at the 3 at $150, that's a $450 bonus that you're getting weekly, paid out weekly, and then we're going to put a $75 bonus on top of that for a total of $525, not including your matrix pay. This is just your weekly pay. What would an additional $500 mean to you and your family this month? What credit card could you pay down? What utility bill could you pay? What credit card could you pay down? What could you buy for that beautiful spouse of yours? So when you start looking at some of these things, I want you to be able to look at that, and I apologize for some of the things popping up on my computer. Funny enough, somebody I sent a sample to is trying to sign up underneath our test account right now, which, funny enough, we can't sign people up, so I sent her a test account, so she's trying to sign up and can't sign up. So the sampling works, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. Proof of that right here, so I'm getting a little bit flushed because that's cool. So when we start looking at this aspect, so this is where we're going to start talking about the daily activity and some of the things that we need to do. This is going to be the blueprint. That 3, that was just showing you how to get the fast cash in your pocket really quickly. So these numbers that I've got here to the right in green this is true calculations based on if your matrix was filled out, so levels 1 through 4, 2, 4, 8, 16, you had that many people and they were ordering a minimum of 60 PV, that's anywhere between $90 and $120 a month residual, okay? Now, remember, if we go back to that one statistic where we start talking about, the individuals who got to that $50 mark, 70% of those were still actively building 6 months later. That's creating those belief checks that we're talking about. And so it's important that as we start understanding the power of what this plan does and how we create the synergy, we can create those synergy checks. Now, levels 1 through 6, again, everyone's filled out and everyone's ordering a minimum of 60 PV. On average, you're going to earn between $378 and $500 there at the M1. Now, I know that I've got a bunch of M1s sitting around. We had well over 700 rank advances in the month of February in the M network, which is great. And I know that I've got some M1s that are sitting there thinking my income wasn't anywhere close to that. And I'm going to explain why here in just a second. But then there's some of them that are sitting in there, and I saw the testimonials on Facebook that were M1 that achieved these ranks and had been involved in direct sales network marketing for years, some of over a decade, and yet they'd made more with the M network in the month of January than they had made in their entire career. And so the commission plan works as long as you work it. So M2, levels 1 through 8, everyone's filled out, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and that's as far as I go. I'd have to take my shoes off to count any higher than that. But at 1 through 8, it's $1,500 a month to $1,750 a month. And again, if you're an M2 and your income isn't here, and I'll explain that here in just a second, but here's the potential. At an M2, M3 is $3,000 to $4,500. At M4 is $5,500 to $7,500. And again, this is monthly income. This is just off of the matrix. This is not inclusive of the fast cash or any of the other bonuses that we offer. And then at M5, you're at $12,500 to $15,000 a month, and that's going to show, again, monthly, what is that going to do from an income perspective? So between M4 and M5 is where we're going to get to that $10,000 a month with just the matrix pay, not including the fast cash and the other bonuses. And then at M6, we jump to $25,000 to $30,000 a month. And again, this is off of one business center. This is off your one business center, and you start adding some of the other business centers. That's where you're going to be able to multiply that. But look at that and just say, okay, to yourself, where at on that chart do I want to be from an income perspective? Now, I know the obvious answer is that I would love to be at the M6 and earning $25,000 to $30,000 a month. I know that's what your head is going, and that's where everyone goes. But then let me ask you this question. At what point on that graph would your life become comfortable? See, there was a quote by Michael J. Fox, one of our fellow Canadians, that once said, he was defining the definition of success. And he said that success to me is having the ability to say yes more times than I have to say no. And so at what point, I believe that in this industry, you have to figure out, it's a stepping stone. How do you eat an elephant? Hopefully you never do. They're on the endangered list. But if you were to eat an elephant, you would do it one bite at a time, right? So when you start talking about it from that perspective is you have to find that range where you're going to be comfortable first. You have to find that range that that's where my life gets comfortable. That extra $300 to $500, or maybe it's an extra $1,500 to $2,000, or maybe it's $3,000 to $5,000, or maybe it's $5,000 to $10,000. Where is it that your life gets comfortable? And that's where you should start focusing on first. That's where you need to go first, because that's going to be the very first step that I'm going to tell you here in just a second that you need to do is you've got to put a desired income. Most people, when they get into this business, they focus on, I've got to get to M1, I've got to get to M2, I've got to get to M3, I've got to get to M4. But what does that mean? Well, that's what I need to make. Well, what does M4 make? Well, I don't know. On your chart, it says $5,500 to $7,500. That's where you should be focusing. Focus on your income. Focus on where you want to be, because that's where you're going to go. Because just like any other commission plan out there, you can focus on a rank, and I'm going to show an example of this here in just a second. And you can focus on the rank, and you can do all of the qualifications to get to the rank, but you haven't focused on the income, and you'll be an M4 or an M3, I should say, making a couple $100 versus the $3,000 to $5,000. Focus on where you want to be financially, not on the rank. The rank will follow. The recognition will follow as you help other people. And so let me just show a perfect example of this. So this is today. I went in and I took 2 screenshots of back offices today. Nate Farnsworth, if you're watching this, he helped me out with this. But this is somebody's back office today. You can't see names, so this isn't calling anybody out. But this is an M3 in the business. Look at how all of those people, look at all those bodies, look at all those, wow, I'd love to have an organization like that. Several hundred people in my organization, because this is only 12 levels. On the left-hand side, if you can see my cursor, I'm going to move it around here. On the left-hand side, this organization over here goes down almost 70 or 80 levels. Like, it's huge what this individual's been able to do. M3, going through the ranks, doing what they're supposed to be doing, but yet, I would ask you really quickly, which organization would you rather have? This one is an M3 with several hundred people, or this organization, again, screenshot from today, with far less people, M2, which organization would you want? Now, I know you know that's a loaded question, because if you looked at this organization, it's way bigger, so it's got to be a bigger check. So what's happened is, if you look at this organization, there's a lot of holes because this individual was racing to a rank. There's a lot of holes in this organization. Whereas if you go to the next rank, this one's the M2, letting the organization fill out as it should, working with individuals, helping. I've got my 2, now I need to help those 2 get their 2, and I need to help their 2 get their 2, and I need to help their 2 get their 2. Helping the organization because they were focused on an income. This particular person's check at M2 was over double what this individual's check was at M3. Again, chase the dream and the passion about where you want to be financially, not based on where you want to be from a rank perspective. The recognition will come. The income will come. And the individuals, here's the thing that I'd like to also highlight about this organization right here. The individuals in this organization are making more money as well because they're focused on helping the individuals from an income perspective. They're helping them grow. They're helping them focus on getting their 2 and helping them to grow. They're helping them get their $75 bonus. They're helping them do some things. And so this is the thing that I would ask right here before I get into the next step. So when you start talking about income, start thinking about the power of what this plan can do if you simply get your 2 and help those 2 get their 2 and help those 2 get their 2 and help those 2 get their 2 and continue doing what they're doing. And let's look at what that does from a financial perspective. Now, I know that some of you guys have seen this before, but yet, how many of you guys, so you've seen it, but how many of you guys have actually went and put it into application? Like you've actually applied it in your life? I always tell everybody, you should always focus on getting 2 members and 2 customers every month. Now, Ryan, you said just get my 2 and then help my 2 get their 2 and so on and so forth. Why do I need to focus on getting 2 people every month and 2 customers? Well, number one, the simplicity of putting these little soldiers, and I call them little soldiers because I'm one person. But if I put one of these in the mail or I put one of these in somebody's hands and I ask to follow up with them, I just duplicated myself by 2. Now, if I handed out one of these every day for the month of March, and there's 31 days in the month of March, I had to think about that for a second. There are 31 days in the month of March. I just duplicated myself 30 times, and now I can follow up with people. And I go into the month focused on 2 members, 2 customers. If you can do that, Your month one earnings is $315. We go back to this chart here. It's like, okay, I've got my fast cash, I've got some other things. Where do I want to be from an income perspective? Now, remember the statistics that I shared at the very beginning of the presentation and started talking about what we need to do as a company to be able to help make sure that people are still actively building 6 months down the road, and we can increase that percentage. But if you focus on getting 2 members this month and 2 customers, you're going to put $300 in your pocket. Now, the next month, I'm going to go get 2 more customers, and I'm going to help my 2 customers, 2 members, and I'm going to help my members and customers focus on getting 2 members, 2 customers. Focus on that. The flywheel, every day, every day, every day, because I know that if I put that energy into what I'm building today, it's going to pay off in the long run. So month 2, I jump up to $384. Month 3, in 1 month, my income almost doubles because the flywheel concept, I keep pushing, I keep pushing, I keep pushing. Now I go get 2 more members. I have my 2 get their 2, and they go get customers. They're at $618. Month 3, I more than double again. Or month 4, I should say. 80. Now I've got 80 members on my team. I've got 160 customers. But remember, you can't ask somebody on your team to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. So if you expect them to go get 2 customers, 2 members, you need to do that as well. Month 4, I'm at $1,300 income. Now, what's going to happen in month 5? I more than doubled again. If you looked at a penny doubled every day, it's over $1 million in income in just 30 days if you doubled it every day. And so you focus about leverage your time, your energy, resources. So in the fifth month, you've got 242 people on your team, you've got 484 customers, and you're seeing the value of what it is that you're doing from that perspective. Now, again, in month 6, here we got to the $10,000 a month income. More than doubled my income again, and we start looking at it from that perspective. I've got 728 members on my team, and I got 1,456 customers for a total income of $10,068. Now, again, we're looking at this from this perspective, and you're saying, okay, Ryan, where's the action steps? What do I need to do? It's simple. I promise you, I've seen it in action. I've seen it already here in M, but I promise you, if you focus every month on getting 2 customers and 2 members and helping your team do the exact same thing, I promise you, you're going to see these type of results. The math doesn't lie. The system works. The pay plan pays if you are consistent day in and day out. And so the action steps, I'm going to put it back on you and say, how much time can you commit to your business every single day? How much time can you commit to it? And you're going to get, if I can commit a little bit more time, I'm going to get to my goal a little bit faster. If I can commit a little bit less, I need to understand that I need to have the patience that it's going to take me a little bit longer because I can't put in the amount of time. But you need to commit to the time that you're going to do what you're going to do, and don't quit. And so, I appreciate you guys being with me. I'm going to share a quick story to kind of illustrate this point to drive home the daily activity. So, and this is a hypothetical story, but I wanted to drive home the point. So, there's this guy, and he's frustrated with his life. He's got debt that he's always, making interest-only payments on. He's got a job that just barely covers and sometimes doesn't cover his monthly expenses. And he's frustrated. He's not happy with where he's at. He's got stress. That stress and everything from finances and bills is carrying over into his daily life. And he's just frustrated. And so somebody walks up to him one day, and he says, I'm going to hire you, Ryan, and we'll use Ryan in this analogy. I'm going to hire you, Ryan, and I'm going to pay you $10,000 a month. Wow, where do I sign, right? I'd join right now today. There's some of you that are sitting here listening to this that they wouldn't go work for that, but there's a lot of us that would go work for $10,000 a month. So what do I got to do? I'll do it. Yeah, I'll shovel cow manure for $10,000 a month. You tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. Okay, Ryan, tell me how much time you can commit every day. I need you to commit time. I'm not going to stipulate what that time frame is, but I need you every day to go out and hand out samples every day. Every day I need you to commit. So if it's 5 hours that you're going to commit to your business, I need you to commit 5 hours. Okay, 5 hours. I'll commit 5 hours, 5 hours. And so we look at it and we say, okay, I'm going to commit 5 hours a day. Now, some of us, it might be 50 minutes, 50, or it might be 20 minutes or a half hour that I can commit every day, but you got to commit. I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit 5 hours every day. Every day for 5 hours for $120,000 a year, I'm going to commit 5 hours. So, okay, now in that time, I need you to hand out 2 samples, and I need you to focus on finding 2 members and 2 customers every month for that $120,000 a year I'm going to pay you. But I need you to commit that you're going to do that. Yep, no problem, no problem. So in order to get to that 2 members and 2 customers every month, how many people do you need to talk to in that 5 hours? I don't know, 10 people. 10 people. Okay, now, Ryan, I'm giving you this money. You've got the job, but I need you to commit every day that you're going to do the 5 hours and you're going to talk to a minimum of 10 people. Now, this is hypothetical, so don't think that you got to work 5 hours on your end business every day and talk to 10 people every day. But this is the commitment that you have to have. So, okay, day 1, I'm motivated and I'm excited. I've just enrolled and I'm excited, and you're going to pay me $10,000 this month. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to work 6 hours, and I'm going to talk to 12 people, and I'm going to do that. So I go out and I do it. I talk to 12 people. I've worked for 6 hours. I come home. I feel good. I'm excited because I'm earning $10,000 this month. The next day. Wow, I put in 6 hours yesterday. I think I'm just going to do 5 today. I'm going to talk to 10 people. I'm going to just put in 5 hours today. So I go and I put in my 5 hours and I talk to 10 people, and I come home and I'm like, okay, I met my commitment. I did that. Now the 3rd day comes. I get up. I'm all excited. I'm making $10,000 this month. I brush my teeth. I get all excited. I go out the door, and there's a knock on the door. I open it up. My buddy. I haven't seen him in 10 years. Oh, my gosh. Where you been? Come in. Man, I just landed this new job. I'm earning $10,000 a month. It's the coolest thing. I just got to put 5 hours. An hour goes by. A couple hours goes by. Pretty soon, it's the end of the day. My buddy, hey, see you later. Hug you. Another knock at the door. I show up. Ryan, what happened? You said for $10,000 a month that you were going to work 5 hours a day and you were going to talk to 10 people. What happened? Well, I talked to that one person. It was for a whole 5 hours, but this person, he is good. He's so good. He took a sample. He said he's going to go to my website. He's going to check it out. That one person was so good. That was worth it. No, Ryan, you made a commitment that you were going to work 5 hours and you were going to talk to 10 people. So should I dock your pay? You only talked to one person, and you might think you were working for 5 hours. Should I dock your pay? And no, I'll do better tomorrow. Okay. You said, you promised, you committed, you do it. So a couple of days goes by. I'm really good. I worked for 5 hours. I talked to the 10 people. Things are going good. And then all of a sudden, I get distracted. There was a post on Facebook. And, oh, man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. And I've got to get my input. And I'm gonna throw in, somebody should Facebook message me for a sample because that's me doing my job and I'm working. But I talked to 5 people. I worked 5 hours, but I only talked to 5 people. So driving home, and I pull into the driveway, and he's standing there. Ryan, what are you doing? You said You were going to work 5 hours every day, and you were going to talk to 10 people. You only talk to 5 people. You want me to cut your pay by $5,000 a month? No, I'll do better tomorrow. And so we go there and we look at it from that perspective. And then what happens is on the end of the story, and I'll kind of cut it short because we're short on time, is that every day we're excited, we go out and do what we're doing, and we get the results. But when distractions and things happen and we don't get the results that we want, then we get disappointed because we didn't make the $10,000. And here's the thing. In that real-life scenario, most people would do the 5 hours of work, and they would talk to the 10 people, and they would focus on getting 2 members and 2 customers because they're getting paid $10,000 a month. But the reality is I and everyone here at M Corporate will pay you $10,000 a month if you would commit to doing that and getting those results. You're looking at the screen of 10,068 if you focus on getting 2 customers, 2 members, and helping them do that for the next 6 months. If you focus on this business like your life depended on it, you would have the results. You would have $10,000 a month. But yet we'll commit to the one person that we should be the most loyal to and not disappoint is yourself. And you'll commit. You'll be excited. You'll be like, I can make that $10,000 a month. And you're going to go home and you're going to work and you're going to do that. But then I guarantee you tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and something's going to happen. Someone's going to whisper in your ear and say, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't talk to 10 people. You can't hand out a stick a day. You can't get to $10,000 a month. And you're going to give up before you even get started. And the one person in this life that you owe it to the most, to be the most committed to and the most faithful to and the most loyal to and hold to the promise to the most is yourself. And yet, all too often in life, we find that it's more important to hold promises to other people. But integrity is deep down. It's in your soul. It's in your heart. It's who you are. And so if you want to get to that $10,000 a month, and I told you at the beginning of this presentation that it was going to be simple, and in March we're gonna make it even simpler, and we're going to do some things. But I'm going to ask you tonight, when you leave that room or you turn off your computer or you watch this, make a commitment to yourself. If it's 30 minutes a day, commit to 30 minutes a day on your business, on yourself, on your future. If it's an hour a day, 2 hours a day, or 5 hours a day, commit to it and hold to it, and do not give up on yourself because you're worth it. You're worth it. I guarantee you. I've seen these incomes. I know that this is possible. I know that when we structured this commission plan, we structured it with you in mind. We didn't do it just off of a whim. We didn't do it just based off of, oh, this sounds great. This is going to be a great marketing plan and all of these multiple business centers. It's going to be great. We did it with you in mind because we knew that this commission plan was going to create the behaviors. It was going to reward the workers. It was going to reward the individuals who saw enough in themselves to commit to the daily activities it's going to build. Think back to the flywheel. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes this sample is going to weigh 5,000 pounds, and you're not going to be able to pick it up. But I'm going to close with this one thought, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. But there was an individual sitting in this room yesterday, and he was with another individual who's a longtime friend and mentor of mine in this business, and they worked together almost 15 years ago, almost 18 years ago. And this individual had created, because of the flywheel, the daily activities, doing over $10 million a month in organizational volume in his current company. $10 million a month in just his organization because of the flywheel, the daily activities, the different things, and all of the stuff. And what happened is there was another individual that was sitting in here that had worked with him in that business who couldn't pick up the phone and call him. He knew that the M Network was exactly what they both had been looking for. This individual joined the business in October. And from October to March, every time he'd get ready to pick up and hand him the sample or pick up the phone and call him, the phone miraculously got heavy. The sample card got 1,000 pounds and he couldn't pick it up, couldn't do it because he was afraid. He was making a decision for that individual that maybe he wouldn't see in the M network what he saw in it. And so it actually took somebody else threatening to call this individual to make this person say, oh, no, I've got to pick up and call him first. If he's going to say no, he's going to say no to me. That conversation happened 2 weeks ago. The gentleman told him, no, not interested. No way, not interested. No way am I walking away from what I'm doing. 2 weeks ago, that happened. Yesterday, he's sitting in our office. Signed up on a $4.99. And his text was, boys, today I think we're going to look back on for many years to come as the day that we started our future, our legacy. Thank you. And I say to you, this is your legacy. That $10,000 a month is money, and you'll spend it on bills and vacations and whatever, food, whatever. That's money. That's monetary. That's what's going to keep the engine going. That's what's going to reward the behavior. That's what's going to do that. But the M Network is a legacy company. And I promise you, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you will get in and commit to the daily activity that you need and focus on getting 2 members, 2 customers, 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 you will build a legacy and you will help influence tens of thousands of lives because you made a commitment. We're seeing it. We're seeing it each and every day. And so I know we went a little bit long. I just want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight, listening, being a part of this. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to go through anything specifically. But I just want to thank each and every one of you. We've got some of the most incredible, amazing leaders anywhere in the world. I've never seen a finer group of leaders than I have here at the M Network assembled so early on. And so are there any questions? I just want to make sure I'm going to look at my text before we close this out. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming out and listening to this. So are there any questions, any thoughts? I know that you guys are probably coming to the end of the evening, but I know that $10,000 a month is attainable. And it's not far out of your reach. It's just your commitment to yourself doing the daily activity that's gonna reflect on that. So if there's no questions, I'll go ahead and end this. And awesome, there's no questions. So I just want to say God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for all that you guys do, and we will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Love you guys. God bless you. Thank you.